A long time ago, in a village called Katara, there was a princess named Ada. She was the oldest daughter of King Omari. Ada was different from her three younger sisters because she was heavier. Because of her weight, she didn't have anyone who liked her. Some villagers even made fun of her and some mocked her in songs, while others spread rumors about her weight. Some claimed that 3 belts were tied together to fit around her waist, while others claimed that she could eat an entire goat in a day. Ada's parents, King Omari and the Queen, worried about their daughter. They tried several times to involve her in arranged marriages, but without success. Ada, however, had lost all hope due to her food addiction, and she believed that any man who married her would only do it to seem important, not because he loved her. Ada wanted to be loved by the one who would marry her, even if she was most often unhappy. However, dancing brought a little happiness to Ada. Despite her general dissatisfaction with her life, she was an exceptional dancer. Often she would hide and start dancing to the rhythm she made with her mouth whenever there were festivals. Ada was looking for a secret spot where she could hear the music and dance. She always hid because she didn't want people to make fun of her. Well, it was the end of another year, and it was time for the annual festival in the 4 neighboring villages. And as usual, everyone was buzzing with excitement. Some people could not wait to showcase their best jewelry, some were really good at dancing, and they practiced a lot with the music, while others could not wait to enjoy the variety of meals that would be served on that day. Ada, on the other hand, only wanted to find a secret place that would give her the freedom to express her dance moves. Finally, she found a place where she could hear the drums and flutes clearly. Then she started dancing with a big smile on her face. However, she quickly noticed that the sound of the drum was getting louder, but she ignored it because she was absorbed in her dancing. Suddenly, the festival music stopped, but the sound of the drum continued. She immediately turned and saw a man playing a drum with a huge smile on his face. The man stopped playing and asked why did she had stopped dancing. Ada immediately started running and the man followed her, but because she was too heavy to run fast, he caught up with her very quickly. "Leave me alone," she said, yelling. "Go find your comic relief elsewhere." The man looked at her kindly, wondering why she thought she was a joke to him. "I got lost trying to get to the market square and was trying to find my way when I saw you dancing in your corner. So I decided to support you with my drum," he said. Ada took a closer look at the color of the young man's outfit and realized that he was not from her village. She thanked the man for his support, then directed him to the market square. But the man insisted that he preferred to continue playing for her. Even without Ada's approval, he began beating his tom-tam again, urging her to dance. When Ada saw that he wasn't going to give up, she started making small hip movements in time with his throbs. After all, what did she have to lose? He was a stranger she would never see again, and she got the chance to dance like she always wanted to. After a long time, Ada stopped dancing. "Drummer, I really had fun," she told him. "Jabari," he replied. Ada told him her name and then told him she had to go home, but Jabari begged her to come back the next day and Ada agreed. On the way home, she thought about the young man, wondering why he was so nice to her and even wanted to spend more time with her. "Of course he's not attracted to me," she thought. She thought all night how unusual it was for such a handsome man to be attracted to a woman like her. She couldn't stop thinking about him, but she tried her best not to get too excited. The next day, Ada met her new friend, and Jabari laid eyes on her. He was so excited and Ada was excited to see him too. They talked for a long time and learned little things from each other, and after talking for a long time, he beat the tom-tom so that Ada could release her passion. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. They continued to meet at their usual places. It was always the best part of their day. Finally, Jabari told Ada how he felt about her. Although Ada had thought for a long time that he might love her, but she didn't want to make a step too quickly. She was happy when he finally expressed it because she felt the same way too. "I can come with my family the next market day to see your parents," he said. Ada's heart was filled with joy. Ada quickly informed her parents that a man from the neighboring village was coming to them to ask for her hand in marriage. The king and queen were very happy. They never knew that a day like this would come. But sadly, a disaster happened soon after. A week before the gathering, a sickness spread through all 4 villages and the nearby areas. To stop the sickness from spreading further, authorities took measures to keep people apart. Every village closed their borders and their leaders also asked them to stay inside their homes. Ada was very sad not to be able to see her future husband every day as usual. To make matters worse, something happened after the borders closed. Ada contracted the disease, and for more than 3 months she struggled to stay alive. The illness affected her appetite, making her weak, and it was impossible for her to finish half a plate of food in a day. As months passed, an herbalist finally found a cure and people gradually began to feel better. When Ada made a full recovery, the first thing she discovered was that she had lost massive weight. She couldn't believe it. She was almost as thin as her 3 sisters. It was a dream come true. That wasn't the only thing that had changed. Her face had also become more defined and her beauty was evident even to blind eyes. She realized that everywhere she went, she was looked at with admiration by men who had never paid attention to her in the past. The richest men among them also began approaching her for marriage conversations. Ada started to feel on top of the world, and suddenly she felt too good for Jabari. When the borders were finally open, Ada went to their favorite places where she and Jabari used to see each other. Ada with Jabari would certainly be there waiting for her. When Jabari saw her, he almost didn't recognize her. "By all gods, my princess, I really missed your beautiful smile," he said. Ada asked him to stop. She felt too superior to be in his presence. Jabari thought she was doing this because she missed him, so he started drumming for her to get her to dance. But she shouted at him, ordering him to stop the noise. "Drummer, I'm not interested in what you play. I came here to tell you that I am no longer interested in marrying you." Jabari was really shocked by his change in behavior. "I know you've never been with a princess before. That's why you always smile like a goat," she said as she left. She warned him never to try to see her again because they were not of the same level of life, she said before disappearing into the landscape. Weeks passed and Jabari continued to send messages to Ada. Maybe she could have changed her mind, but she ignored them all. Instead, she entertained the long line of men who were interested in marrying her. One day, she had an idea. Ada decided to hold a wrestling competition for eligible bachelors in the village, and whoever emerged as the winner was going to be crowned as her prince. The competition was set, and it went beyond the borders of her village. Many men have signed up to win the heart of the beautiful Ada, the first daughter of the great King Omari. The king even invited associates and wealthy people to this event. Ada therefore decided not to go out for the next 4 months to receive the best beauty treatments in order to impress her future prince. But she failed to recognize that it was the illness that had made her thinner. Her old eating habits had remained the same, so while Ada was inside, she continued to eat large portions of food, and day after day her weight began to pile on again. When the 4 months had passed, Ada had returned to her previous size. She was disappointed in herself and tried her best to cancel the event, but her father refused. "I'm sure you'll find a prince, regardless of your current situation," he reassured her. On the day of the event, warriors, farmers, merchants, and many eligible princes headed to the village, preparing to win Ada's heart. But when Ada was called to welcome her visitors, the men looked at her in shock. She was not what the rumor described, and one by one, they began to walk away, heading home. Ada had never been so embarrassed in her entire life when she was about to leave because of shame. Her eyes landed on a familiar figure. It was Jabari, but it wasn't the Jabari she knew. He was dressed like a prince, very different from the low-grade gear he wore when they met. They looked at each other for a moment, and a voice soon interrupted their look. "My prince, your father is ready to leave now, as is Ada." Jabari was royalty. His father was the king of one of the 4 villages, but because of his love for music, he usually dressed up to play drums with everyone during the celebrations because he didn't want to be treated specially by the people from other villages. As Ada watched Jabari turn his back and start walking away, she realized that she had lost a good man who loved her despite everything. Unfortunately, she never had the chance to find love again, and finally, she had to settle for being the 10th wife of an old chief. The moral of this story is that you should never overlook those who were there for you when you were at the worst times of your life. Because this type of person is becoming quite rare these days. And if you treat them unfairly, you might never get the chance to meet those same people again when you're at your lowest. Thanks for watching this story today. Please comment on what you learned and don't forget to like and share with your loved ones. See you next time and goodbye.